Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking with me, Denise Martin, in Delaware, USA.
And me, Martin Ferber, in Preston, UK.
This weekly podcast is for anyone and everyone who'd like to know more about the fascinating subject of hypnosis and the benefits it offers.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist.
I'm a retired medical doctor turned consulting hypnotist.
We are Two Hypnotherapists Talking.
So let's get on with the episode. Hi, today Martin and I are thrilled to introduce our friend Larissa Bellotte, who is also a solution-focused hypnotist, but she does some other things as well. And Larissa, what are you going to talk to us about today? I definitely wanted to hear about how you found solution-focused. So did you train together, or were you in different time slots?
We didn't train together. I think we might have trained at similar times, but in different parts of England, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. You're further south.
Yes, exactly. So, I got into hypnotherapy because I had hypnotherapy myself about 16 years ago or so for fear of flying. And, it changed my life because my holidays were, the journeys were enjoyable as well after that, because before that, it could ruin the end of a holiday for me. So, it changed my life, which was amazing. I think a lot of hypnotherapists get into it for that reason, don't they? That it changed something for them. And, so then I kind of, always had this at the back of my mind, this interest, but it didn't seem like it was achievable until I got made redundant. And turns out that was the best thing that could have happened to me. So here I am.
So when did you start your practice officially?
About 2 years ago, as a solution-focused hypnotherapist, and it's a constant journey of learning after that, isn't it? So I've done various other bits and pieces since then, and still developing what I'm doing and things like that. But yeah, it's just so enjoyable. I love it.
Do you see people in person? I mean, physically in person or on Zoom?
I tend to see most people on Zoom. I have started seeing the odd person in person if they really would prefer, but I find it works really well on Zoom, and it's generally easier for people. I can see people. My furthest client has been in New Zealand, so it's got its.
Yeah, that'll be a long drive.
Yep, you don't get much further than that, do you?
No.
That's good. So did you have to wake up in the middle of the night to see that client, actually?
I think it was we were doing it. I think it was like 8 or 9 a.m. my time and evening her time.
Oh, bearable.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. What about, do you both see people in person as well?
Actually, this afternoon I'm going to do an initial consult with somebody who's come to my state from another state, and I'm meeting that person in a neutral spot, because I don't have an office. I have a home office, but I don't want to. Yeah. And COVID made my other office go away. Yeah. I couldn't see anybody for a year, and it was a waste of money. And it's just so much easier for people. But often, if it's a local person, I'll meet them at least once.
Yeah.
Often it's somebody I know anyway, or it's a friend of a friend. So
yeah, exactly.
Get accosted in the supermarket. Are you that lady that does hypnosis?
Yeah, no, I see in person and on Zoom as well. Because I do it from my own place in Preston, plus the therapy company in Preston and the one in Blackburn, and Zoom. I'm doing quite a lot on Zoom at the moment, which again is great for around the country.
Yeah, or other countries, which is nice too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, allows you all to market for the largest community there is of people that would do hypnosis.
Yeah, it does.
Where I am, yeah.
I don't know how it goes on for other practitioners in the UK who do other kinds of hypnotherapy. But for us as solution-focused hypnotherapists, it's relatively easy to get insurance to practice abroad as well. For example, I can take on clients in any state in the USA as long as they sign a thing to say they understand the services being offered under UK law.
Yeah.
And our insurance covers us, which is really surprising considering how litigious it is over there.
What is your primary focus of your practice right now? Do you have something that you're particularly interested in?
I still haven't found a niche. I'm kind of waiting for that to happen organically, if it does. But what we can help with, obviously, as you know, is so broad that I've just I've kept my options open, really, and I'm working with all sorts of things. I do tend to work with a lot of phobias, and I think that's because, as Martin mentioned before, that I've got an article in the local paper about how I help someone with a needle phobia, and so that gets me, a few inquiries about phobias and things. And I do really enjoy working with phobias, I think, because it's quite quick and direct, and just really effective.
I read the article in the Brighton Argus. I mean, not only was this lady able to then have her COVID-19 jabs, which obviously was essential, she then went on and had other things out of choice, Botox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Completely
I think it was
choice.
more about that than COVID jabs. But
I mean, that's it.
Yes, but if that got her to her COVID jabs, that's
exactly.
But it's one thing getting rid of a phobia for something that's essential, like COVID. It's another thing altogether when they actually then choose to go and have needles stuck in the face.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That proves how effective it was.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So that was about a year ago, wasn't it? The article in the paper.
Yeah, it was. And
so this wasn't an article you wrote. This was an article they interviewed you for that piece.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So and it just got into the local paper. I actually didn't know it was in there until someone told me about it.
Did you do a press release? Or
I did do a press release.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's always like that with journalists, but I didn't hear about anything back, so I just presumed nothing had happened. And then someone told me they'd seen it. So so that was good.
Yeah,
lovely, excellent. So I was having a look at your website as well, Larissa. As Denise said earlier on, I'm a bit of a stalker. Now I was just taking a look, and it's. I mean, obviously, I know about solution-focused hypnotherapy. Denise does. Our regular listeners and viewers do as well. But I was reading something about the control system.
Yeah.
Another way of accessing the subconscious mind without using hypnosis, trance. Tell me more.
Yeah, so I love that way of working as well. So I use both depending who I'm seeing and what it's for, and also I have to check that they can work in that specific way, because it is very different. And as you say, there's no trance, no actual hypnosis. So it's all done through conversation using idiomotor responses, which I'm sure you know what that is. Some of the listeners might not. So it's getting a signal back from the subconscious mind, really.
Okay.
It's very different, but it's very specific and very direct. So I use it a lot with things like phobias. I mean, you can use it for anything really that you can with solution focus. But it is, I think it's a surprising way of working sometimes, because people, they come for hypnotherapy are expecting hypnosis.
Are they expecting the swinging pocket watch and the whole thing? Or...
Some, yes.
Yeah.
But we do actually, in the control system, we do some kind of, how would you say, exercises, just imagination exercises to just check how open someone is to it. So it's almost like some of the things that stage hypnotists might do to check someone's susceptibility, or if they're open enough to do the thing.
Yeah, but I think that, sorry for correcting you, but it's not that they are superior. It's just that type of hypnosis. They are going to be able to cooperate with a hypnotist whilst being watched by 25 other people or 300 other people. Yeah, whereas many people can't. They would be just as good subjects, but not in that situation.
Exactly. Yes. So obviously this is a much more relaxed environment, and I'm not getting them to do anything silly, but it's just to check how their imagination works, and just to check that I can get those responses from the subconscious mind. And then when that's the case, it's the way of working, it's almost like you negotiate with the subconscious mind. It's, the subconscious has got these patterns of thinking and behavior that have been put in place for whatever reason, things learned as a child or because of a situation that someone's been through. And it's just kind of getting the conscious message through to the subconscious that it's time to change that strategy is no longer serving them. So it's it's a very different way of working, but I really enjoy it as well.
So I'm just thinking then, for anybody listening and watching, we're saying this isn't hypnosis, but it is. It's not the formal hypnosis they may perceive, but the whole procedure, the whole process, it is a form of hypnosis. So
is it closer to Ericksonian?
What he did was so varied, wasn't it? So probably to some extent. But it's just done through conversation, and Yeah, the difference as well is that because it's done through conversation, the first session, I usually say leave 2 hours, because you don't know how long it's going to take.
Right.
You don't know how open to change the subconscious is. Sometimes it comes up with barriers, and it's just kind of putting those barriers to rest so that you can do the work.
Good.
Yeah, it strikes me, like you said about waiting 2 hours, a bit like if you read a book, a really good book that you're absorbed in, and you put it down, and then you're driving along, and maybe an hour later you'll suddenly remember some bits of it and replay it out in your mind, or maybe imagine it in a different scenario and replay it out, and that kind of thing. Same with a TV program that you've watched, or even a movie. You can start to think about it an hour or two later.
Change the ending.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, why shouldn't it have ended like this, or that kind of thing? I'm thinking it works in the subconscious the same way, because similarly, if you bring that up after 2 hours, it's been playing away in your subconscious.
Exactly. Yeah, the same with solution focus. You need that space in between sessions, don't you, to really kind of for the changes to take effect, really.
Is there a particular kind of issue that you use that technique for?
Again, no, it's
it's just something about the client that you think maybe this way is the best way.
Yeah, I think generally if someone comes with something really specific, like like a phobia, or
like the needle lady.
Yeah, exactly. Then I'd probably tend to go the control system way. And if it's more, solution focused is so broad, isn't it? And someone will come to see you for something, and then it starts to change so many other things in positive ways as well. So, I've had a couple of clients recently who, they just didn't feel right. They just wanted to make some changes. And so I saw them in the solution focused way, because it is so broad. And I know solution focus, you can get specific as well, but to now use the control system for that, just because it's different, and I really enjoy working that way.
It sounds like a really good add-on. I mean, there's never any harm in increasing your tool belt, is there, in the ways that we can help people?
Yeah, exactly.
But I can see where you would use that instead with certain things, because I mean, again, with solution focus though, the first half of the session is every bit as important. I mean, I know Denise, you'll agree, won't you? The pre-talk's as important as the trance, because all that time we're getting them into that left prefrontal cortex, making them more amenable to the positive suggestions we're going to bombard them with. But yeah,
I don't really like that
bombard.
Oh, yes, I do understand. Yes, we are showering them with
suggestions. Showering.
Flooding.
That's me told. But no, it's. I get where you're coming from, because I do it in the pre-trance section beforehand, when we start to sort of explore the miracle question and that kind of thing. Yeah. You can see people already slipping into that more relaxed state.
Exactly. Yeah. The other thing I like about it as well is in the first session, you kind of get them to access the negative feelings. So in the session, you can see how that changes. So you get them to keep going. Well, not keep going back to it, but at some point retest it, and you kind of get some feedback as well, which I quite like. Yeah, so it's interesting.
It sounds like it.
So what is your next plan? All of us are gradually building out if you're sensible, you get this to work, and then you add another thing. So what's going to be your next thing, do you think?
Well, the thing that I'm working on at the moment is workshops. So I want to put together some 1-hour workshops that I think, to start with, I'm going to start doing a few kind of free workshops, just to kind of, it helps to get your name out there, if you can help people in some ways as well.
On the more common, say, generic sort of issues, like a workshop on weight control, a workshop on anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Different workshops for different things. And the other thing I want to do, once I've kind of, had a bit of practice and got my confidence up in those ways, is I've got a couple of contacts who, are in the corporate world, who've kind of said, would you come and do workshops for us? So that's kind of the long-term goal, which is exciting, but if I'm honest, slightly scary, because I'm not used to doing that kind of thing. But you have to put yourself out there, don't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, you do. I saw as well you are an IEMT, integral eye movement therapist.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
is that the same as EMDR? Is it similar or?
It's different. To be honest, I don't know that much about EMDR, but I'm told that similarity is that, it's done using eye movements, but it is different. I know EMDR is often used for trauma, isn't it? Whereas IEMT is again more, well, I don't know if it's more broad, but that's my understanding of it. But again, yeah, it's one thing that I did train in, but to be honest, I don't really use it very much. Just because I've just been concentrating on solution focused and the control system. So it is something I did, but I haven't really gone down that route very much.
No, I just wondered if it was similar to EMDR because I'm a great believer in that.
I mean, it is amazing. Like by moving your eyes when you're with specific things in mind, it does change how you feel about them. I mean, it is incredible. But again, when I did that course, there's another course to follow that one, and maybe one day, but you can't do everything, can you?
No,
not at the same time.
Yeah, it all goes on forever and ever, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It opens this whole new world. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? You can just keep going. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's all though. I mean, I think I'm speaking on behalf of all three of us here, but it's all to do with changing those those beliefs that are set within the subconscious, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you think the techniques, if you know the techniques that you're using are working, you don't need to go look for the next shiny object. A lot of things that are marketed as new, they're remarkably similar to others.
Yeah, it's like anything to do with computers, isn't it? It's like reinvent the wheel and wrap it in software. Yeah. I mean, it's like I've seen it. I've noticed it. Certain people taking certain parts out of, say, CBT and marketing that as if it was some unique kind of thing. Whereas, if you look at the original CBT, it was a very complex set of things, wasn't it? Very sort of complex set of tools.
Yeah. And even solution focused has got so many different, NLP and CBT and so many different things to it, doesn't it? But I mean, why not? If you find the combination of things that work, and and half of it is your rapport with the client as well, isn't it?
That's essential.
That's 99% of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you've got some of the, some great tools, and then you just, you've got that connection with people, you can.
Yeah, but you can have the greatest tools in the world. If you haven't got rapport, you've got nothing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you haven't got that good, strong therapeutic alliance, forget it. I mean, and that can happen. We can't all feel totally comfortable with absolutely everybody. We can't expect our clients to either. Sometimes there just isn't that rapport there for whatever reason. Maybe even just because of distance, and that person isn't comfortable on Zoom or something.
Yeah,
Could be something as simple as that.
And that's why I always ask clients for 2 sessions, to commit to 2 sessions before they decide it doesn't work.
Yeah. So what else is lined up down south there at the moment, Larissa, in terms of hypnotherapy and stuff? Wasn't there some big event going on, something?
What, that I've just been to, or no?
Or have you just been to one, or is there one coming up?
Sorry, because I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to steer the conversation around to my award, but I got that award last year, and I've just had.
No, we didn't. You talk about it, girl.
I didn't know you'd got an award.
Yes, I did. Prestige award for I think, oh gosh, I should know this, shouldn't I? Because it was holistic therapist of the year for this region in England. And I've recently gone to the award ceremony. Sorry, I thought you were referring to that.
No.
So that was great.
Send us a picture. We'll add it to the end notes of this.
Yes, I will. I've just received them, actually. I've just received them yesterday. So
how many clients do you see in a given day? You have kids?
I do.
Trying to think about what interrupts the flow of your day is what that question really was.
Yes, it's trying to fit everything around school pickups and all that. So and Wednesday's the day where I have more time, and at one point, you know, on busy weeks, I see quite a lot of clients, but I tend to try not to see more than, you know, 3 clients a day, or 3 or 4, because it is tiring.
Yeah.
It can be really tiring. I think there was one day where I saw 5 clients, and it was a bit much, really.
Yeah, I think you need at least an hour in between clients, personally for me.
Yeah.
Just to recharge, just to process everything they've said and get your notes updated.
Exactly. You have to prepare for the next one. You have to it does take time. I think, you know, people have said to me before, like, oh yeah, well, you know, you're on a good wage. But the thing is, okay, if you get a certain amount per hour, you're putting a lot of work.
Yeah, it's 3 hours for each session.
Exactly.
I say 3 hours as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, I make a new audio for each session. Following, you know, I get feedback on that session a few days later, and then I make a new audio that they use until the next session.
Okay.
They're using the audios. Are your audios music backed as well?
Yes. Yeah. And I think it helps, actually, because, you know, it's the same music that I use in the sessions, and they get used to music just sending them into that relaxed state. So,
well, I on my face-to-face in-person sessions, I have the music playing as they walk in the room.
Oh, do you? Oh, nice.
It triggers the self-conscious immediately. They associate that music with falling asleep at night time. They feel safe, they feel secure. So as soon as they walk in the room, they hear that music very, very low. And then when we get to the trance part of the session, I turn the volume up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Do you use any hypnotic techniques or the things that you have learned because you're a hypnotherapist with your kids? How old are your children?
My daughter's 7. Yeah, so I've made her own recording, so she either chooses that or the music. Not every night, but when she wants to.
There's more sort of affirmations.
Yeah, I've made kind of more kid-friendly one. I kind of and I use her name in it and things, and you know, she likes that one. But yeah, she's quite young, so I haven't, you know, used too many techniques or anything with her, but
hopefully she's not too traumatized by life yet.
Well, no, exactly. Yeah, she's a very happy little girl, so that's good.
I would say she should be of an age where she enjoys a bedtime story anyway, won't she?
And she's got a great imagination.
Yeah, she just give her a book and she loves reading. So
I
was like as well, and it's great.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but her imagination is so she won't watch any films or anything, because anything slightly scary she'll she doesn't like. So I mean, at the moment it's ideal, really. She doesn't really want to watch films, she just wants to read. So I'm sure that will change, but
Talking of sleep deprivation, and one thing and another.
You mean the kind that we just got visited upon us? Because daylight savings flipping time.
You were talking about sleep deprivation and what have you. And I dug up something on it as well to confirm everything we've been saying. It was, hold on. Sleep deprivation and obesity in adults, Cooper et al. 2018.
Yes.
That from the original 92 original studies and 18 reviews, blah, blah, blah. Basically, in a nutshell, if you're too sleep deprived, you're fatter.
Messes with your cortisol. Yeah. It's definitely, I mean, it's one of the things in I have a program coming out very soon, hopefully before this airs. That is a large portion, because I market generally towards women, because that tends to be the people I see, not always. I haven't met a woman yet who doesn't want to lose weight, even if she's skinny. It seems to be, I think, just self-acceptance and a realistic approach to what your body is supposed to look like at whatever age you are, and making sure you're getting enough sleep and doing all the other self-care things. So really, just about every program I run that's a group program is really just self-care branded with a different emphasis on a particular thing.
Yeah, I mean, sleep is the key to everything, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. Have you read the Matthew Walker book about sleep?
Yes, I did. I did a program almost 2 years ago now, and I had prizes every day, drawing every day. And I had 2 copies of his book to give away because I was so impressed by it. It was
I read it twice back to back. It was just so interesting.
Yeah.
What's this one?
It's called Why We Sleep by
All right.
Yeah, really interesting. And about sleep as well. Do you know Huberman? Andrew Huberman does all these podcasts.
Frequently with David Spiegel.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought I heard the name. Yeah,
but he's recently done a podcast, probably a few weeks ago now, on sleep. It was really interesting, especially, you know, our explanation, Martin, about, you know, REM sleep, and he goes into more detail about the sleep cycles and spindles, and it's really interesting. I'd highly recommend that.
Yeah, because it's true, isn't it? If you don't get the right kind of sleep and the right amount, I mean, I always say that's the difference. If you go to bed with a petty argument from the daytime on your mind and you sleep properly, you process it, you wake up the next morning thinking, that was a bit over the top, I'll go and buy them a coffee or something. If you've not slept properly, you wake up the next morning and you're still ranting and raving about it, and you're getting even more wound up, and on it goes. You know, that's a simple analogy I use all the time, but it's true. It's true, isn't it?
One of the useful facts about sleep when you have teenage boys, particularly, you know, the pre-adolescent, very early adolescents, just remind them if they sleep longer, they will get taller. If you want to be tall, you need sleep.
Definitely. And they need a lot of sleep at that age, don't they? Because of the brain development.
They're programmed to sleep. And of course, their circadian rhythms tend to goofy too. So they do tend to go to bed later and sleep longer in the day. Yeah,
I mean, I can remember as a teenager, couldn't get out of bed in the morning. It was horrendous.
Right.
The interesting thing I learned on the Huberman Lab podcast about sleep, which I didn't know, is that say you normally sleep from 10 till 7, for example. If then one night you go to bed at 12 and you sleep till 9, you don't kind of start at the same point as you would if you went to sleep at 10. Like you miss out that first, whatever the sleep pattern is at that time.
Yes, so there's actual truth to the old saw, an hour before midnight is worth 2 after, which was I heard constantly from my father. But there is actual evidence now that there is a difference in the quality of sleep we get. Don't know what other cues may be feeding into that. I used to do shifts, of course, as an ER doctor, and I worked a lot of night duty, and I definitely know it affected my health.
Yeah, and night shifts absolutely mess with your body clock completely.
Yeah, but somebody's got to be up doing them. That's the problem.
Yeah, as I said, my dad worked permanent nights for 30 odd years. It totally messed his up. Nick's mum worked permanent nights, and she did it where it was 7 nights on, 12 hours a shift, and then 7 nights off. And it completely messed with her body clock. Even now, sort of 10 years after retiring.
When I stopped working, it took years before. It was as if my body knew if it was 10 o'clock in the evening and I was still upright, I was working. And I couldn't get to sleep till about 4. About 4, you'd have a similar slump that you do in the afternoon. But if I got to bed before 10, I could fall asleep before midnight. But if I was so upright, it wasn't happening. It's very odd. But it took years and years. And now I'm a pretty decent way of going to sleep, in part because now I use hypnosis if I need it.
I was reading all your useful hints for getting good night's sleep, Denise, that was published. What was that published in Daily Mail USA today or something? I can't remember now.
USA Daily Mail.
USA Daily Mail. Right, okay. Yeah, I was reading it, Denise.
Nothing to do with the other Daily Mail.
Yeah.
not associated with the British one. Yeah.
Reading it, Denise has put a load of good information there, broke down into nice bite-sized pieces about how you can get a better night's sleep. One of the things that you mentioned on it, though, I hadn't thought about it for years. Don't look at the clock. I mean, we all used to have alarm clocks next to the bed, didn't we? And I can remember the digital one with the lights coming off it as well, and you'd be watching it, 12:01, 12:02, 12:03. Yeah. Really strange. I mean, I don't suffer with those kind of sleep not disorder, that's the wrong word. Sleep problems that I used to have years ago. I used to, if I say I had to get up at 7 a.m. for work, I'd wake up at 3 and then I'd try and get back to sleep and I couldn't, and I'd lie there and I'd look at the clock. That was always the thing. We all had clocks, didn't we? These days, I don't know. Most people, I think, use their phone as their alarm clock, don't
right.
they?
Yeah. One of the things that I was always very good at was just telling myself before I went to sleep what time I had to get up. The only time I set an alarm is if I have to catch a plane or something, not because I won't wake up, but the worry that I won't wake up keeps me
I'm
awake.
exactly the same. I generally always wake up before my alarm, but yeah, sometimes if I've got something important, I'll even put on 2 on my phone or something, just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Oh, I know I won't sleep through it, but it's just knowing that is going to be the thing that wakes me up, and I won't be dashing through TSA and begging to go through.
It's really funny, isn't it, though? About we were talking the other week about those that went before us, sort of, they had everything right in terms of a lot of the old wisdoms, as in things like, eat fish, it's your brain foods. About sleep, though, an hour before midnight's worth 2 afterwards. And the other one, of course, was if you want to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, bang your head on the pillow 7 times before you go to sleep.
I just tell myself, I don't hit myself with pillows even.
Yeah. Well, that was an old one. It was nod your head on the pillow however many times at the old clock you want to wake up at.
Oh, really? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
Yeah. I think that maybe...
Because we're older than you.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
So when are you going to start? Before we finish, tell us a little bit more about your workshops. Like, when do you think you'll be starting them? So people need to look at, can look out. Will they be in person or will they be Zoom?
They are
or hybrid.
They're going to be on Zoom, I think. I don't know. Probably want to get them out there in the next kind of 3-4 weeks or something.
Thank you again. And we will see you again soon.
Yes, lovely to see you.
Possibly in person. Who knows? If you're ever coming over this way.
Maybe one day.
Right.
Okay. We hope you've enjoyed listening. Please remember, this podcast is designed to give you an insight into therapeutic hypnosis and is for educational purposes only. So remember, consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you've heard may apply to you or a loved one.
If you found this episode useful, you can apply for free continuing professional development or CME credits using the link provided in the show notes. Feel free to contact either of us through the links in the show notes. Join us again next week.